Ololade, thank you for joining me on Under 35 with UNDP Nigeria. I'm so glad to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm doing all right. Now, International Youth Day 2023 is themed Green Skills for Youths, and the world is embarking on a green transition. It's very important that we start to embrace an eco-friendly lifestyle. We start to embrace renewable energy, a lifestyle that is sustainable, and which is very good because it addresses the global climate crisis, which affects everyone, youths inclusive, and also contributes to the Sustainable Development Goals. So my question for you is, can you tell me about the work that you do with UNDP Nigeria and how it's contributing to a sustainable lifestyle as well as contributing to the green transition?
My name is Ololade and I work with the Nature, Innovation, Climate Change and Energy Unit of UNDP Nigeria. So what we do is we work with energy, we work with climate change, and we also work with innovations, anything that has to bring a new and sustainable development to Nigeria. We have implementing partners. We work with the federal government of Nigeria. Basically, most importantly, the Federal Ministry of Environment. Most of our projects sits in the Federal Ministry of Environment, and we work with them to make sure all of these projects are a success. So basically, we work with the Pollution Control Unit of the Federal Ministry of Environment. Okay. So that has to do with chemicals and depleting resources that actually endanger or cause climate change in Nigeria. And we also work with Biodiversity Unit. That's the Department of Forestry. Okay. For the biodiversity, we work with the bees. We assist in safeguarding the bees and make sure they don't go extinct. For the Federal Ministry, for the Department of Pollution, we work with the HCFCs, that's the hydrochlorofluorocarbons, and we assist in depleting these hydrochlorofluorocarbons from the country. So we also work with pollution control. We work with sound management of PCBs in Nigeria. That's polychlorinated biphenyls. You have the oil in your transformer, right? These oils are usually polluted by chlorine, which is not supposed to be there. Yeah. So what we do is we're trying to phase that out and then decontaminate and dechlorinate the chlorines and put back the oils and make sure that they don't have any form of effects on each and every one of us. So
amazing. So you do exciting work, and the bees really stands out to me. It sounds daunting, but no one wants to get stung by a bee. So my question is, with all the exciting work that your unit does, where do youths come in?
Youths come in. Okay, for us, we work basically with the Federal Ministry of Environment. We make sure they have a percentage of things they do for the youths in most of the programs. So for instance, now we had this training of about 40 participants and technicians to Italy, and we make sure that at least half of those participants and technicians were under 40. The people that are here now are the youths. Yes. We are the ones that have a long way to go right now. So what we need to do is to include them in everything we are doing, because it's not the old people that are going to come and do all these things for us. So what we do, we used to have the Youth Innovation Hub, which we had different youths come and showcase their sustainable ways of living and everything. So we had people that they came to showcase a lot of things. We had people that came to showcase, I think there was this guy that came to showcase a pure water nylon into, he was converting pure water nylons into interlocks.
He was recycling them.
Yes, he was recycling them.
Wow.
Into interlocking tiles. So it was really amazing. And we saw all these things. We had people that made flower vases out of plastics and threads and so many things. And it was just a collection of everybody coming together to showcase their abilities. So, and we had them in the 5 geopolitical zones of the country. So we had everybody involved. All hands were on deck, and there was basically nobody going out of that place the same way they came.
They came in, yes. It sounds really exciting. I think in the context of Nigeria, there's a lot of work that is being done by UNDP Nigeria, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Yes. And so it's quite exciting to hear about how youths are being included in program implementation. So for youths that are interested in being a part of the green transition, what can they do?
For youths that are interested, I think the best thing to do is to adapt to skills, the green skills. So we have digital management, we have education. You can learn to be an advocate for the environment. We have a lot of people thriving on that, even going to speak in conferences on environment. You can become an health, safety and environment specialist. You can become basically anything you want to be that has to, even personally, going in and out of your house, you're going to the shopping marts, take your bags along with you. You don't have to collect plastic bags. I try not to collect plastic bags at supermarkets again. If you have anything to recycle at home, you can recycle them.
So I think that's very interesting. You mentioned using bags, reusing bags while shopping. In Nigeria, we all know every time you go to the supermarket, you don't have to pay for a bag. They give it to you. Yeah. But I know in other countries you have to pay, no matter how little it is, you have to pay. And that discourages people from using bags that are single use to bring in their reusable bags. And I think it's something that we really need to adapt in this country and have the government actually put policies in place to encourage use of reusable bags. So my question to you is, what do you think about riding bicycles to work?
I think it's a great idea.
Have you ever done it?
I've never done it before because my house is it's quite far to walk. But I think there was one of our staff that used to do that and used to ride all the way to work every morning. And I think it's such a great idea for people that live in places that are not so populated. You can try it. Try riding your bikes to work. It would actually help. Now that fuel is even expensive, I mean, it's a good plan.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of relearning that comes with the green transition. The other day I was driving and I saw someone riding a bicycle within my estate, and I thought to myself, it's interesting how within communities, people are happy to ride bikes for exercise, but not necessarily as a means of transportation. So there's a lot of rethinking and relearning that has to go into the green transition. So yeah.
For me, I think that it all begins with one person. Yeah. If you just change your mindset, okay, I can do this. Like I said, if I go to a supermarket, I hardly take bags. Even if I buy one thing and they want to give me a plastic bag, I say, no, thank you.
Really?
If I don't have my reusable bag, I don't collect bags. Most of the time, I'm not saying every time, in case you catch me collecting bag one day, but that's it. So it starts with one person, one mindset. Yeah. And we can do it, I'm sure.
Yes, we can. But if you look at the average Nigerian, when we go to the supermarket, we don't just throw the nylon bags away. We actually do. We keep them in the store. Yes. Maybe we have a visitor who wants some food or some takeaway, and we repackage them. The visitor gets to their house, stores the nylon until he or she gets to reuse it. So if you look at it from a different perspective, as Nigerians, we are very climate friendly to an extent. But then I guess it's in the context of what we're able to do. Like you said, you live very far away from work. So cycling, it's not feasible because by the time you get here, you're already tired. Yeah, you're quite tired. So it's understandable. And like you said, there's much more that needs to be done. So how can someone take active steps to be a part of the movement? You've mentioned green skills, you've mentioned UNDP ensures that the ministry involves youths in program implementation, but what other ways can youths be involved?
I want us to know that climate change is not for one person, it's for all of us. So as little as advocacy programs, go to schools, you can teach the students about it. We encourage climate change clubs, we encourage environment clubs, just to make sure that these children are getting used to the word climate change. So in all those ways like that, just little ways you can do that. We also encourage you get a digital skill. If you don't have to go to work, if you don't have to ride to work every day, you are working from home, it saves a lot of carbon in the air, carbon dioxide in the air. So those are the little things I think you can do. And then you can get involved, like I said, even aside from the renewable aspect, get involved. If I tell you, okay, for myself now, I don't use plastic bags, but my partner does, how am I still affecting or how am I still contributing to the environment? Like I said, word of mouth, say it often, advocacy, talk to whoever you want to talk to, get all the skills you can get online, work from home
as much as possible.
For every trip you want to fly, you're adding more. Even if they charge you, there's a carbon tax, but you're still adding more to the environment. So as much little things you can do like that to just help
make a difference.
Yeah, just make a difference. Those are feasible things that you can actually do.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So my next question would be, as a young person, how are you contributing positively to the green transition?
I am taking my projects really seriously, and I'm making sure that we get a lot out of those projects. For example, now, if we have to do a particular workshop or we have to do a particular training, I make sure it happens. I make sure we don't go without not doing that. We don't leave people. We don't leave the word unheard. You need to learn about it. You need to know about it. Trainings, regular monitoring, regular visits. Like I said, I take my own project personally, and I also contribute. Where I have to stop somebody from using something, I stop them. I don't shy away from it. My friends make jest of me because they think I'm more of an environment person. I am going for lunch. I go with my water bottle, so that I don't have to use the plastic cups. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I do. So in as much as we are trying to get the word out, we are doing so many projects, we are doing so many things, we need to take it seriously. It's not a joke. I mean, we can see what is going on, the heat wave in Europe right now. Yes. We can see the fires. It's not a joke. So we need to actually take them seriously. I take my projects really, really seriously. I don't play with them. So for biodiversity now, where we need to do workshops, where we need to actually train people on beekeeping, we do that. We don't take it for granted at all. So as a young person, in my own way, that is what I think I'm contributing to.
Trying as much as possible. And it's important because we the youths, were the ones that are going to have to endure the effects of climate change for quite some time before things, eventually do stabilize. And optimistic that it will, with people like you pushing things forward.
Hopefully. I hope everyone listens.
No, yeah, I'm sure. I think beyond everyone listening, like I said, in Nigeria, we do try within the context that we're able to. So for instance, people who sell Zobo, they don't purchase new bottles, but sometimes there's just some little limitations. Maybe we don't have where to recycle things in some areas within Nigeria, but then I know that a lot can be done and a lot will be done with time. Yes,
I think, like you said, as a country we are doing so well. For people that can afford solar, I see the efforts they make.
So many people have solar in
Nigeria. You don't see that in other countries. You barely see solar panels in other countries. So where people don't have to use generator, like my parents and I really discourage them from using generators. So if we can get solar panels, if you can afford it, please go for it. We used to have this project, Sustainable Forward Management, where we had clean cook stoves. So where we are not supposed to use charcoal, where you're not supposed to use just open fire charcoal. We had this stove modified to use charcoal, but it brings out clean energy. And what did I do? I bought for my grandma in the village. Yes, I bought one for her. She used it. It's very fast. It's very effective. I think Nigerians are doing a great job, but we can just do better.
We can do better. It's honestly been a pleasure having you here. It's important to have this conversation, especially when it comes to green skills and the effects of climate change, to create that awareness and encourage young people like us to do more. Yes, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.